listening to The Gender Rebels.
I'm Kathleen, a cis woman and ally.
And I'm Faith, a trans woman.
Gender Rebels is a question and answer podcast that explores life outside the gender binary.
A big thanks to our Patreon supporters.
If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/genderrebels. Hey everyone, I'm Kath.
And I'm Faith.
Faith, do we have any new patrons to thank?
We do. We've
Yay!
got some fantastic new patrons.
Awesome.
Jessica R.
Jessica R. drives a fast car.
And Renee M.
Renee M. We should hang out with them.
We could. I don't know if... Renee might be cool.
We know for a fact that Renee is cool.
Yeah, if you listen to our podcast, chances are you're cool.
And if you're a patron, you're extra cool.
So congratulations on being cool, Renee.
And we love all of our listeners, especially you. Hey, Faith, I got a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
How come I was able to take off work on Wednesday?
Because we both have decent jobs where they let us take paid time off.
Mm-hmm. What did we do?
We went to, both of us took off the day, and we went to NYU-Langone, which is a big hospital here in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
They might have locations elsewhere, but they're in New York City, and they are where I got my breast dog, and they're also where I'm hoping, should my insurance come through, which it should. I've got to get 3 more letters still, even though I got the letters previously. I just have to get new dates on them.
Which means starting all over again.
Yes,
for some
100%,
reason.
because you can't... We're talking about GRS, by the way. You can't... To get a consult, you have to have letters from a psych person, a psychiatrist, a therapist, and your GP. Or general practitioner or your hormone provider, whatever. And then for one of them, I actually changed my primary care provider to my endo, who does my hormones, because I was like, otherwise I would have had to get another letter from my primary and another letter from my endo. That's 4 letters. And then I have a heart thing, which is fun. I don't recommend having a heart thing. So I had to get a letter. I also have to get a letter from my cardiologist. So it would have been up to 5. Now it's only 4. Thank you.
Only 4.
Yeah. So thankfully I've got 1 letter and I've got to get 3 more. And so
that's what you're working on now?
Yeah, but they make you get it. They make you get the letters before the consult. And then you get your consult and then you get a surgery date, which is like a year and a half away, and then that comes up, and they're like, "Oh, we need new letters." I'm like, all right.
So,
fine.
is it possible?
Yeah.
That your heart condition or your mental state would have degraded within that time?
It's very possible.
So I guess,
but
cover your ass. We live in a litigious society, and also I want to protect trans people.
Also, you don't need to get all these letters for a friggin' knee surgery. Like if I was having a lung removed or something, I don't need letters from therapists to tell me that I can do that.
Except there are diagnostic tests that count your blood oxygenation level or your knee function. There's diagnostic tests to prove you're unhappy with you. Okay. Anyway, we've covered these in similar episodes.
We have.
Some links down below. You got all those letters.
My GRS, the scheduled gender reassignment surgery, is scheduled for just a few months away now. About 3 months away. Let's just say that as of this recording, it's less than 90 days. So, yeah, which is once you hit below 100, then you're like, and then 90 days is such a thing that's used in our society as a measure. So it looks like once you hit below 90, you're like, So anyway, I've got that scheduled. So NYU, Dr. Rachel Buan-Langer and Dr. Zhao, I don't remember his name. I don't think I've ever met him. They do, they're doing the surgery. So their whole team, they do this GRS class, which is actually called the Vaginoplasty class.
Is it Vaginoplasty or Vaginoplasty?
It might, I don't know. I think it's Vaginoplasty, which is what I heard. Someone in the talk kept saying Vaginoplasty, which I guess is not incorrect, but it always just struck me weird. I like Vaginoplasty.
Okay, so this is part 1 of the episode topic, the NYU-Langone Vaginoplasty class.
Yes. It's like a board game. Vaginoplasty.
Vaginoplasty. We can play Vaginoplasty while you're recovering.
Yes.
Go to jail.
Oh, no. I'm in vagina prison.
Aww. Today we'll be talking about this NYU Vaginoplasty class that we attended, and this is part 1 of 2.
Yeah.
So this was not exactly a GRS class or an SRS class or a gender confirmation class, because this was just for girls.
Just for trans women.
Building a vagina out of a penis.
Yep.
Not the other way around.
Cutting that thing up.
Just
tossing some pieces and then putting it back together a little differently.
And I thought it was interesting because it's not just Dr. Bluebond-Langer, it's Dr. Bluebond-Langer and Dr. Zhao. Jin Zhao.
Zhao. Zhao or Zhao, I'm not sure.
And the deal is, she is the plastic surgeon. He is the urologist, I think is the term. Yes. And you've got the two of them working on you.
I do, yes.
And they're top of the line. Like best in the world. I'm just so happy about
They are.
team.
I think... I don't know if they actually have, like, vagina off, like once a year they all get together in Switzerland and they're like, all right, everyone, we're going to see who's best.
And of course it's in Switzerland.
Yes.
They do. They have metrics for success after the surgery.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they are, I think, if they're not the best in the world, they're like top 5. So it's still pretty good.
Yes.
And they're like a cab ride away. Very quick for me. So natural choice. I think longer wait than Mount Sinai, but my another doctor had been like, I don't know, Mount Sinai, I've seen heard about a lot of complications from them. And I'm like, all right, well.
I thought Sinai was the best in the world. But I might be basing that on what I read on their website.
I think so.
All right.
Sinai is not bad. It's actually really good to be able to have 2 facilities that are among the best in the world. And again, maybe one is top 5, maybe one is top 10, but like whatever. Like they're both very good. Based on the information I went to Sinai for my FFS. So like this isn't like I hate on Sinai or anything. This is just kind of like I had to make a decision. NYU I think has, and Dr. Rachel Bluebond-Langer is famous for this and has been for years, and she was doing it in Baltimore for ages.
At Hopkins?
And then moved up here and maybe Hopkins. And so it's plus it's Dr. Zhao, Dr. Rachel Bluebond-Langer, and a robot.
That's right. The third star of the show.
I hope has like a really cool name, like in an R2-D2 type fashion. They're like, this is our robot.
No, it'd be Vagbot.
Vagbot 1 or something.
No, Vagbot XR3.
Well, when we go in, we'll ask. We'll ask, what's the robot's name? And it needs a name. So they do, I think twice a year, they have this vaginoplasty class where you can come in and they'll kind of walk you through it. And I mean, every single step.
Everything. There's so much. It is not just the day. It is leading up to the day. It is stuff you need to prepare. It is things to expect during and after. It is like literally my dream come true.
Yeah. And literally they had sent me. I was very nervous about this surgery. I still am, obviously, because it's a major surgery. And the recovery time can be involved. And it's sort of a lifelong thing. And it's a big deal. And so I was very nervous about it. And I had asked them to send me the packet, which I don't think you get until like 12 weeks before surgery. But I was like, I want it now.
The more information, the better.
Yeah, I want all the information. I want to know what it's like to recover. I want every single thing. And so I had read that. I have a big folder that's sitting on our dining room table and has been for several months called GRS, and it's about an inch thick at this point with all the paperwork.
Do you want a binder?
I don't know. I have I have all this medical paperwork because my FFS one, because of all the legal stuff that was involved in the facial feminization surgery I had, ended up, that one was like 3 inches thick because of that stuff. So it's like, it's all that stuff. I've read through it. Yeah. And so when they got the class, I was like, well, yeah, of course you got to go to the class. It might be useful. So, and it's the class that is for the patient and their caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
And Kathleen, I hope you will be my caregiver.
I mean, I'll take a look at my schedule and see how it looks. But yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm in the running for your caregiver.
You're definitely in the running.
Okay.
It was going to be you or possibly Bernie Sanders, but I think he's got something going on, he mentioned.
He's getting pretty busy. But, we'll as we get closer to it, it's going to be a lot easier to figure out, so we'll go from there.
Yes. If you need soup, I'll pick you up soup. So, anywho, Bernie's very busy. Anywho, so we went there on literally this past Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
We were recording this on Saturday, and I had a very good time. It was incredibly interesting. It was about 6 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sit in a chair for 6 hours, but I did my best.
Trouble, yeah.
I did have to take a break at one point and just walk around the block because
you missed a lot of good material.
I'm sure I did, but it was still I have to get up because we sat in the chairs during lunch too. So, anywho, let's kind of run through.
I also had a really good time. 80% of that was free sandwiches. 20% was a really great team, and it's really helpful and informative. But I gotta tell you, listeners, I'm a sucker for a free sandwich.
I gotta say, I also went to an event for work recently, and same sort of catering. But I have to say that I think the catering for this NYU thing was better.
Interesting.
Than the work catering.
Very interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, this was an all-day thing. Actually,
it
was 10 a.m. to 3:30. It's your day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what surprised you or what questions you went in with? Or do we want to just kind of walk people through our day?
We can kind of walk people through our day.
Okay.
Do you have your notes that you took? You took a bunch of notes.
Yes.
Are they in here?
No. Hold the thing.
Okay.
Here's a dog.
Well, Kath is getting the notes that she's going to refill her wine as well. I am drinking a Guinness as we record because it's actually 140 calories a pint. It's the lowest calorie beer. You guys got to see me. I've been losing weight. I've been very healthy. I went running and biking yesterday and did planks. That's some serious crap. I also did some squats too. So I've been trying to be very, very healthy, which is why I'm not in stop drinking, but I'll have 1 or 2 Guinnesses a day. Not every day. Maybe 4 or 5 drinks a week, I think is where I'm at. I have an app that tracks this stuff, including all my food and calories and everything. So it's been fantastic. So if ever I go to the doctor and they're like, how many drinks do you have in a week? I will be able to give them exact data. Because everyone, I think, lies in that question. Or at least people who drink even casually, I think, lie with that question when the doctor's like, how much do you drink in a week? And one, you're like, well, what's normal? I guess 0 is what they want to hear, because that's the best, obviously. But then you're like, okay, well, maybe I have 1 glass of red wine with dinner, but that's 7 already. And then you're like, well, I don't know. What's the right answer? So maybe you lie? But you don't want to say the real answer, because it's easy to go out with friends and just have 4, right? And that just bumps your average up. So anyway, I've actually been doing very well. I can answer truthfully that my number of drinks per week is probably around 3 or 4. So I also have data on everything I eat. It's fantastic. It's been good.
Data, not deprivation.
Yes, that's what it's all about. Anywho, Kathleen is coming back now.
Let me turn to the right page.
She's going to locate the correct page.
Where did this little brown dog come from?
If everyone could turn their hymnals to song number 405, God is a lightning storm of rage. We'll sing that song. Oh, God is a lightning storm of rage. He'll kill every queer with a sword made of rage. The author of that song was not a very good lyricist.
But the melodies, I'll never forget that
There's
song.
26 rhymes with rage. Just throw in an age or a page or a heterophage.
Or phage. You could mispronounce that Greek yogurt. That is fire.
Fire. Yes. So anyway, you got your...
or a macrophage or a microphage.
Exactly. You've got your notes.
Uh-huh.
Phage, I believe, comes from the Greek meaning to eat. Or
Really?
possibly the Latin meaning to eat. Yeah, like a heterophage is an organism that eats other organisms. We're heterophages.
It's a phage. P-H-A-G-E.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just rhymes with age. Rage.
Yeah, but like for Greeks to name their yogurt phage, but actually faye, but F-A-G-E?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay. Linguists, hit me up. All right. Welcome to NYU-Langone.
Yes. So,
first, everything there, by the way, is named after someone. You have to take the Williamson corridor to the Bruckner elevator and press the Goldenberg button to get to the Durkin 5th floor and take a howitzer right and then walk 20 Carbondale feet down to the Simpson classroom.
yes. Except the weird thing was we were in Alumni Hall B.
Right.
It wasn't like the John and Beverly Koch Foundation Alumni Hall B. It was just Alumni Hall B. Literally every friggin' elevator in this building is named after someone.
We had to walk through the Bill and Melinda Gates doors to get into Alumni Hall B, though. So, all right. Here we are in Alumni Hall B.
Yep. So basically, they kind of go through the pre-surgery stuff. That was the first one. Then they'll go through kind of the mental health and wellness and support and like the idea that you need a therapist. I'm just going to run through this.
We're just going to go, a quick overview of what our day schedule is, and we'll dive into each of those after we tell you what we did.
The Out Foundation
Yeah.
came in and talked. Then they talked about your hospital stay, what to expect there. Then you met your hospital care team. Then there was like integrated health, which they call. Then we got sandwiches for lunch, and then
I had 2 sandwiches. One was like turkey and brie. No, I'm sorry. One was ham and brie, and the other was turkey, kind of a lettuce tomato thing.
I think I had a turkey
And a bag of chips and a cookie.
They did not have enough pickles for a thing of trans girls.
They did have a container of nothing but pickles, and even then, was
They
it a
all
good
went-
pickle, or was it?
It was a decent pickle, yeah.
All right.
So then you talk about post-surgery. Then you meet your surgeons. Then they talk about the supplies you need post-op and the aftercare.
Shopping part.
Then we talk about your pelvic floor.
This got a good chunk of time. Your pelvic floor is important, and we'll get to that when we get to that.
Then we had a patient panel,
This was awesome.
which you got to meet some people who had had the surgery. And then there was some questions, a Q&A. So, yeah.
It was also available to people around the world. There was a WebEx connection. For anyone who ever does any kind of conferencing at work, WebEx is garbage, and my opinion of that was only reinforced. But that was actually the only thing
the web
this
conferencing didn't work.
web
So, like,
conferencing.
sometimes, like, someone would be talking, except all you could hear was the WebEx people, or the people listening in, but they couldn't ask questions,
and we
because couldn't hear them.
And we couldn't tell them to mute their microphone because they had us muted, but we didn't have them muted, and we couldn't. The Gender Rebels endorses Zoom. Yes, Zoom for your web conferencing needs. Not WebEx.
I wasn't consulted, but I'll say sure.
Total garbage.
Yeah.
All right.
Anywho, so pre-surgery, we got to talk about making sure that you have a support network in place. That was a huge part of this. Is like you need someone to take care of you, to go get you soup, to
check on things,
check on
to call
you.
your doctor, to pick up your prescriptions, a lot of it's bringing you food.
Yeah.
And like helping you up off the couch so you can.
They didn't mention.
pee.
I think they said liquids for a little bit, but they didn't really make that clear. Did they?
I am always very attuned to what your food needs are. And since the surgery will involve staying in the hospital for a few days.
Oh, liquid diet for the first day or so.
One day.
Okay. And
of
then
a
you
liquid
get hospital
diet.
food.
And after that, your food is normal.
I did ask about the food in the hospital, and one of the other patients said it was pretty good. So
I feel
I've
like
had hospital food once or twice in my life, and I think we mentioned this, but it was just okay.
It's not disgusting, though.
No, it wasn't disgusting. It was just kind of bland.
And
they don't
honestly,
season it.
Baby girl, this is New York City. You want the finest pho? You want seared foie gras? You want kebabs made of lamb straight from Lebanon? I got you.
I know, but when I'm in the hospital, I'm going to trust what they feed me.
I'm going to get you all that takeout you want.
Okay. No. When we're in the hospital, we'll go with what they need. And then you'll bring in your food, and then I'll be like, oh, that smells delicious. I guess I'm going to eat this bland pasta.
You want a dirty martini?
No, I shouldn't.
You want a lobster boiled live before your very eyes?
Just because I'm a sadist, yeah. So anyway, that was a big deal. Support network was a huge thing.
They emphasized that right from the beginning, which I wonder maybe was their way of like buttering up the people who were there, even though they didn't need the surgery, in case we would like get bored. They told us how important we were, how we might need our own therapists to get through this, how you can't do this alone. And if you think about it, that's really sort of shitty that you can't do this alone when
I don't think you can.
For something that culturally, overall, is an alienating thing. People are rejected from their family or for their friends. People are fired from their jobs. Like, this risks your network.
It does.
But you need your network.
I find myself lucky that I've got you.
Aww.
Remind me to treat her well, everyone. So they talk about the support network. They talk about therapists and things. They talk about travel and lodging, which for us was pretty easy because we're just going to take a cab. But they also mention,
But we had people from Massachusetts and people from
like upstate and places.
Upstate New York.
So there are a few
people travel.
People travel. And I actually, one of the nice things about living in New York City is that you don't have to travel for this.
Yeah.
And that's rare. Most people do have to travel for this.
You're so lucky.
I'm lucky, but I also don't have a dishwasher, washer dryer in my house, or any fucking closets. Or a yard for my dogs to play in, or windows.
We have a window.
Or room to take decent photos in my apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
it's a trade-off.
I was going to yell at you about your privilege again, but we'll never have a dishwasher. We will never own property, ever.
We'll see about that.
All right.
So anyway, supplies they talk about the supplies you need to bring.
Well, real quick. So for those of you who are listening, just to touch on that travel and lodging thing.
Yeah.
Some of you might be planning to come to NYU or Mount Sinai or some other place or the Mayo Clinic or Johns Hopkins. Like, some of you might be planning to travel, and what they're saying is you do need to plan for several days close to the hospital because there are quick follow-ups. What the document says is you'll be required to stay within an hour's drive of the hospital for 2 weeks.
Yeah. After
your discharge. So it's surgery, a week in the hospital, and then 2 weeks in an Airbnb or a hotel or whatever within an hour.
Within an hour of the hospital. So that is roughly 7 blocks.
Shut up. No, it's not.
Not true. No.
In the case of New York, that you can go to a more affordable place out in Queens or out in New Jersey. Like, there's a radius around the hospital that is reasonable. You won't be able to take the subway for a while. That was actually one of my questions that I forgot to ask, is like, how soon post-op can you take the subway? So you want to be within an hour's drive for 2 weeks after, because there are a couple of post-op checkups, and also they don't want you to be stressed by a lot of travel, so they don't want you driving yourself or pushing yourself in any way. So for those of you who are thinking of traveling, bear in mind that it's a week in the hospital after the surgery plus 2 weeks after that. At least that's how they want it for NYU.
Yeah. So
it's just take a month. You need a month, right?
Take a month. I'm taking 2 months off work. So I think you do need a month. So then they're like, okay, for the hospital, bring your phone and charger, extra long charger.
Oh, I'll get you extra long
Some headphones. Okay, got that. And they're like, a Netflix or Hulu subscription.
Be like, free, 1 month trial. They even make a note of that. So you're going to be bored.
So they didn't say like Disney Plus because, they know you're going to be bored. You're going to be in the hospital for 5 days.
And you can only watch so much Baby Yoda.
Yeah. There's only like 10 episodes of that. You need to watch like a show. You need Doctor Who for this,
What?
Like
something complicated?
No, just where there's hundreds of episodes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, you should watch Lost. Because it's very detailed.
I don't want to watch Lost. It ended shittily. That's why I'm always like 5 years behind everyone else on TV, because I want to see how it ends before I even bother.
Game of Thrones ended shittily and we enjoyed it.
We did, yes.
Anyway.
So anyway, Small handheld mirror so that you can look at your shiny new vagina.
Hey, y'all, they went into this a lot. They said, don't think you can use your phone to view your crotch. Oh, you'll be looking at your crotch because you'll be dilating. We'll get to that in a minute. But you need a small handheld mirror. A compact, your blush, your eyeshadow compact, not going to do it. Your phone, not going to do it. You need a small handheld mirror, and they pointed out that there is an item on Amazon that is like the best possible. That is this extendo mirror with a little light on it. I will do some research and hopefully have a link for it in the show notes. But you gotta be able to see your crotch.
Yep.
And also, when you see it, it sounds to me like a very profound moment.
I think it could be. We'll see.
Like, how could it not be?
I don't know. I mean, because it's like on day 5, so we'll see.
It's going to happen, and
it's like day
Faith
4,
is going to roll her eyes and be like, yeah, next. And I'm like,
I don't know. We'll see how it is.
Yeah. I'm going to cry.
As I process things slowly, I cry at random moments. Mm-hmm. So, who knows? I'm weird, all right? I'm just weird, especially with emotional stuff. Come on.
You?
Yeah. I'm surprised. I don't even have emotions, except anger.
Rage.
Anywho. So, all right, you need that Chuck's pads. I think they talked about, and they say Chuck's pads / puppy pee pads. I don't remember this. I remember talking about maxi pads.
I feel like I would have remembered them saying puppy pee pads, but I did think to myself that we would need bench pads.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing as a dog's piddle pad or something like that. It's just an absorptive layer with a plastic sheeting on the bottom.
You are going to be leaking out of your new vagina like crazy.
So much discharge.
What is the deal with friggin' vaginas and leaking?
It's because cis women leak from age 13 on, discharge of various colors.
Yeah.
And what this week is you playing catch up.
Yeah, they also mentioned all the various colors of discharge.
Oh, they did. They
will
went
have,
the rainbow of discharge.
You need some lube, and you'll need some antibacterial soap and loose clothing. Mm-hmm. They always say loose clothing. Don't wear tight clothes. Don't wear no bodycon dress, okay?
They know how much you love your leggings.
I know.
Because leggings are wonderful.
Leggings are my comfy pants. Anywho.
You're going to need like a skirt.
Yes, and so finally, after this, I can go jogging without worrying about anything falling out while I'm wearing leggings.
There'll be other things to worry about.
There'll be plenty of other things to worry about. So that was the pre-surgery. They talked about mental health wellness support, and this was sort of ties into the pre-surgery. They're very into, like, you know, have your therapist, talk to your therapist, etc., etc. I don't have a therapist. I don't know how much talk therapy would benefit me, but anywho.
Yeah, I noticed you sort of breezed past that.
What's your notes on
pretty
therapy?
Important stuff.
I'm aware, but like I feel like talk therapy isn't going to work for me, and so also I've tried to get a therapist because Kath wants me to get a therapist because of the previous mentioned random crying,
rage.
I have rage and sadness. I have several emotions I would like to point out, and fun isn't. Fun's not an emotion, but it's like kind of one. Yes, go ahead. Why don't you talk?
They emphasized, and I put in my notes, and do want to emphasize to all of our listeners, and if Faith happens to overhear this, you know, good. This is a big deal. All surgery is a big deal. All surgery has a risk for depression after the fact, even if it's wonderful, even if it's childbirth for someone who has been dying to have this baby and I can't wait to be a mom or a dad and how great that's going to be. It's still a big deal. And it does a number on your brain. Your body chemicals and your brain chemicals are all over the chart. And your mental health is as important as your eyes or your teeth or any other part of your body. And what they recommend is having someone to talk to before, during, and after. Not during, but you know what I mean. To keep you sort of grounded in the process. To be that listening board. To be that external, unrelated observer. To just get you through it. They emphasize this so much that I even thought, hey, maybe I should look into getting someone to help me through the process of being the caregiver. I'm just standing next to the bed holding out a bowl of soup, and it's still a big change. So look into that. If you don't already have a professional to talk to, do some research. We'll have a link down below to the Psychology Today, exhaustive resources. And in this case, the great team at NYU said if you don't want to do that, because that can be kind of overwhelming, it is so exhaustive, there's so many people, they said give us a call. We can refer you to people. We'll figure out whatever the cost.
Anyone. That's the hard part. I couldn't find a fucking therapist to save my life because they're Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., or they're not taking new patients, or whatever reason. Like, it's bloody impossible. It's not like I haven't tried. It's just bloody impossible.
With respect,
yes,
for your lived experience. There are some therapists that work evenings and weekends that it does take some digging. You've decided not to, and that is totally okay.
I put the effort in.
But I want our listeners to know.
All right, yes, listeners, if you can. I tried my bloody hardest, all right? I only have so many spoons I can put toward looking for a therapist. Assuming talk therapy even works for me, which is not guaranteed.
And maybe you don't need it. That's the other thing. You are not sufficiently motivated to get it because maybe you don't even need it.
I don't know.
Okay. So that is all. Do it if you can. Do it if you want to. Do it if you're able to.
Yeah.
That's all.
So, next up, Out Foundation talk. Anyway, if a therapist could be helpful for you, don't let me discourage you. I get very discouraged because I spent a lot of time trying to find one, and it was near impossible. In fact, it was impossible. Out Foundation talk. Out Foundation, they do... Actually, it seems like some really interesting work. We're going to have a link down below, but they actually provide an apartment here in New York City.
They can if you need it. Yep.
They can if you need it. And that is fantastic. Luckily, I don't need it. Mm-hmm. If this is something you're looking for, I definitely recommend checking them out. I think that could be an amazing resource, a free apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And they do some other stuff. They also do some, like, health and wellness type things.
Mm-hmm.
They were paying for this whole event. I think they paid for the food, so they got to talk.
I mean, I honestly got the sense that the Out Foundation is like 2 full-timers and some volunteers.
Yeah.
Like, I got the idea that it was a very small group, but a really... I was impressed with what they were able to offer and what they're willing to do and how critical important that is. Pretty sure NYU-Langone has a little more cash than Out Foundation and is probably bankrolling the sandwiches.
Maybe NYU's paying for the sandwiches.
Langone, incidentally, is some Wall Street asshole, blah, blah, blah. We'll take his money, but, you know.
Mm-hmm. So then we went through the hospital stay, what to expect on that.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about how awesome your rooms are going to be. Apparently, it's a fancy new hospital.
Oh, they went on and on and on about your view and your big screen TV and your touch screen controller and the couch that turns into a bed for one person, maybe 2. You really don't want to do more than 2.
It looks nice. I mean, the photos they had did look nice.
I think it probably will be pretty nice.
I mean, as far as things go, our friend of ours had their appendix taken out at NYU and talked about how lovely it was and how it was the best hospital. Despite having an organ removed.
Were they at the East Midtown location or the Brooklyn
I think they were
location?
at the new one.
I feel like they were.
Yeah. So they kept talking about how amazing it was. So,
but before you get to your room,
yes.
this is something I took some notes on. They talked about like the day of, obviously, and meeting with the surgical team and the anesthesiologist and the nurse, and you change into the robe and you'll wait in this area and then we'll take you to this area and you say your goodbyes. They went through all that.
They didn't say your goodbyes. They specifically used the term
see you later, not goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Sorry about that. They had said you will, after, someone will put something in your arm, they'll put a mask, you'll tell you to count down from 10, and you'll go 10.
Yeah.
Which is how it went with your other 2 surgeries.
The first one I was like, I put it on, and it was like, they're like, count back from 10, and I was like, this doesn't smell like plastic. And that was
and then you were out.
Because Kath had told me it would smell like plastic.
Because you got a plastic thing on your face.
The other one, I don't remember. I think I must have put it on and done what they needed, but I don't quite remember that moment.
And then you wake up, and you'll be in a place called the PACU. PACU. U is unit. Post-acute care unit?
Oh, post-anesthesia care unit.
Post-anesthesia care unit.
So when you come off anesthesia, your body really don't want to be on anesthesia. So when you come off anesthesia, they check to make sure like everything got back working the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, they're watching your heart.
Your brain's still working, your heart's still
breathing.
working, your lungs are still working. You are going to be intubated for this. You're going to be catheterized. You're going to have all kinds of tubes and shit hooked up to you.
So you'd be in the PACU 45 to 60 minutes, and that's going to be before I can come in.
Yeah.
It's just going to be you and them, and you're awake. And
I probably won't remember that. I'll just be like, give me a friggin' beverage, because my mouth is all
I need
dry.
Ice chips.
Yes. And then
they said, and they apologized in advance.
Yeah, they said this a few times, and they said it in the paperwork as well.
You may need to spend one night in the PACU. It is not desirable. It is unavoidable. In that case, the caretaker would just go home for that night, because I can't sleep in the PACU with you.
They said, I think, 10 minutes every 3 hours or something was what the
after that initial 60-minute observation. So they're very apologetic, but they said, we are a hospital in an urban area. We can't always count on having the beds. Like, I feel like they were very experienced with this.
Yes.
And they wanted to give us a very clear and not sugar-coated idea of what to expect.
Exactly.
Which I really appreciated.
No, that was good. And they said about 1 in 10 it happens. And they said part of the reason is just... if the room's not available, the room's not available. And they have to wait for the person to check out.
Yeah.
And then they brought that up again when they talked about checking out. And they're like, get out because
need to make room.
You gotta make room for the other person. They also talked about like someone had the question of like, oh, will there be other trans girls on the floor who had just had the surgery? And they were like, yes, you will have. They do 2 surgeries in a day.
Twice a day, yeah.
So you do have, like, your vag sister.
You got a vag sister.
And they said if you want to meet your vag sister, they can hook that up.
But they would need both vag sisters to be like, yeah, let me meet her and be supportive. And then they came in very loud and strong. Do not compare yourself to your vag sister. We won't let you meet if you do that. You have to not do that. Because that is not a valid comparison, and we have gone over this on previous episodes.
Yes.
So, post-surgery. The big...
What? Being trans is not a contest. Except it is, and Kim Petras already won.
No one else can win.
So no one else can win.
The
I'm sorry.
contest is over.
It's done.
You can play the game, but you may as well be a child in a sandbox because you're not going to win.
So don't get too bummed, okay?
Yeah. Kim Petras wins.
Yep.
Pain.
Yes.
First few days. Is your crotch going to hurt?
They're basically doing the thing. They mentioned that you're going to be on painkillers. They said no opiates, actually.
Right.
Which is great. I don't want to be on opiates.
Because the Tylenol, the Motrin, and the gabapentin, which is the same cocktail you did after your face, does it. They have opiates on hand if they need it, if that cocktail isn't doing it. But Tylenol, Motrin, gabapentin.
Yeah, I don't want to take opiates if it's at all avoidable because it's basically it's very possible to get addicted, and people do.
Yeah. Yep.
So...
but the worst pain that you will feel, they said, is gas pain.
Yes.
And this isn't like, I have to fart and can't. This is gas in your belly. In your...
your...
carcass isn't the word.
No,
in your
there's
trunk.
In your trunk, in your torso. There's a word for, like, there's a sack. That all your organs hang out in. And so it's like literally gas in that because the robot, VagBot 1000, organs are not neat and pretty like in diagrams. They're all just kind of shoved up in there with some blood and goop and fluids and tissues and membranes and shit. It's apparently a mess.
There's some membrane to sort of hold them in place because they're not all slopped at the bottom of your trunk. Yeah. But they're just... bleh.
So the robot blows air to kind of separate things, which is good. The robot's apparently quite fantastic. and the robot blows air to, like, move shit around so that they can see better.
Space.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that gas stays there. And the thing is, gas...
They're able to take most of it out, but not
yes.
all of it.
So the gas that you would normally be thinking of like, you know, is in your or your large intestine.
Yeah,
and
you're thinking of your digestive
That's
system.
what you fart out.
That's not this.
The thing is, if gas is elsewhere in your body, one, it hurts apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to kind of like just roll your torso around. But your body reabsorbs that.
Eventually, and
it's kind of slow, and then it gets into your large intestine, and then you can pass it. But that is apparently the hardest part, the most painful part.
It's the first few days. It's going to be the worst pain. It's going to be that gas pain. They said you're going to feel it in your shoulders, your neck, your back, and your tummy.
Yeah.
So it's not even going to be down around by your junk. It's going to be higher up.
Yeah.
Is that because the gas rises?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Me neither. The patient will have a Foley catheter. He'll be catheterized.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be an IV in your hand. There will be a wound vacuum.
Oh, yes, the wound vacuum, which is another sort of little robot.
That just takes care of discharge.
Yes.
And they need it. They can't just have you on a pad. Don't worry, there's pads in your future. But they need to track how much fluid is discharging from your brand new vagina. Brand new vagina. That's sort of a Broadway song.
It is.
What's the song about a brand new vagina that's more to your taste?
I don't know if I could do it, but it'd be like... Brand new vagina, brand new vagina, brand new. It's brand new. It's a vagina. Yeah, I don't know. We have different musical tastes.
They're going to have a brand new vagina.
Yes, I should write that song on my upcoming electronic album that I've not recorded.
Good plan.
Yes.
Of course it's not recorded. It's upcoming.
It's upcoming.
Come on.
Upcoming could mean I've recorded it and it's yet to be released.
This is true.
So anyway,
she has
that's... It. Yeah, there's a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And... on like day 4, we're getting into like the post surgery, but day 4, before you stay in the hospital 5 days. So day 4, they will take your packing out. No, I'm sorry. Day 4, they take most of your dressing off,
well, day
including
3,
the robot.
You get to move from a bed to a chair.
Yes.
Day 4. What my notes are, the waddling begins. You get to start walking.
Uh-huh.
Dressing, here's the words they use. Your dressing, your wound dressing, comes down. So they remove most of it,
but they keep the packing. So the packing is the last thing.
Yep.
And they said removing the packing apparently feels very, very weird. And I've had packing removed from my nose, and I believe you have as well.
I have, yeah.
And it does feel very, very weird. And so I'm not looking forward to most of this.
Yeah.
The surgery is like the results I look forward to, but not the getting there. I don't look forward to this. I mean, that room looked pretty nice. And I like any situation where people just bring me food. And I don't have to think about what I'm going to eat.
Like restaurants, but better.
Even though
because you're in bed.
No, because I still kind of miss like college dining hall, where it's just like I don't have to think about food, I don't have to cook it, it just sort of is there,
and there will be
I can have some.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's like any sort of situation, I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. And then
day 4, you get your first view of your new vagina.
Yes, and day 5, which is your last day. Day 4 you get. Is that when you start? One of these days, you start, the person will come in and show you how to dilate. And dilation is a huge, big deal. I'm sure y'all have heard about it.
I feel like dilation day is day 5.
Okay.
Because that's the day that they say, have that hand mirror.
Mm-hmm.
That's when all the packing is removed. And they say, this is a self-love day.
Yes. And so you get to learn to dilate.
Mm-hmm. Which should never hurt. It is a new sensation. It involves a lot of pressure and stretching. You might not like it, but according to the team, it should never hurt.
Yeah.
I will be interested to help you and observe how it actually goes.
Yeah. So that's basically once, and then also day 4, they pull out your catheter, in the evening.
Yes.
So you have all morning to pee. And they said basically with the catheter, your bladder gets like really lazy.
Yes.
And your bladder muscles that squeeze it get really lazy. And they're like, I'm not going to work if I don't have to.
Yeah.
So they kind of have to like wake up.
And
our bodies are fascinating.
They're waiting to see if your bladder wakes up. They're paying attention.
And if it doesn't, you might have to get a catheter back in for another week while you're at home.
Yeah.
So
Which
I look forward to that. I don't like the sensation of like having to pee.
But that's the thing. They said with a catheter, you'll feel like you have to pee, and you can just go.
I know. It's going to be weird.
Just pee.
It's all going to be weird.
Yeah, you're in bed. Pee.
It's just going to be so weird.
What if you love it so much you just want to have a catheter all the time, so you don't have to get up from the couch while
I've
you're watching TV?
had a catheter before.
Oh.
I don't care for it. I mean, we'll see.
Was with your
I could just have a tube that just runs to the toilet.
Exactly.
Just get some plastic tubing.
Or out the window. It's shorter.
Yeah, there you go.
We have one window.
Mm-hmm.
You had a catheter, but it was with your old junk.
It was with my old junk. So I don't know how it'll feel with the new junk, but we'll see. So
day 5.
Yep.
You dilate. You're also gonna douche.
Yep.
That's part of the post.
They have a whole diagram of douching.
Mm-hmm. Video that you have to watch 10 times.
Which I had thought was a little like I thought douching was not a thing people did anymore, but apparently this is different.
In special surgical, post-surgical circumstances, yes, it does make sense to douche. You'll dilate, pick up your prescriptions, and go home on day 5.
Waddle your way out to a cab.
They need you out. Someone else needs that bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's we met the nurses. They were fantastic as well. Nurses are always fantastic.
Oh my God.
I'll always sing the praises of nurses.
They got the whole team there, and one woman's like, mine is the last face you'll see going in. Hers is the first face you'll see afterwards. Like, it was so nice to just meet these amazing women and hear about their years of experience and tell us this is what girls have done in the past. This is what it'll be like for you.
Yeah.
Like, I felt very, very comforted by that.
I
felt
did.
reassured of their expertise.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be weird no matter what.
Also, for them to take the time to do this. I mean, obviously they get paid for it, but like, they're
crazy busy.
They're freaking busy.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Great.
We'll talk to you next time, everyone. Bye.
All right, everybody. Bye.
If you've enjoyed this episode and want to help us keep making more great content, go to patreon.com/genderrebels
Please leave a 5-star review on iTunes.
and send your questions to questions@genderrebels.com or find us on Twitter @thegenderrebels.
Music for The Gender Rebels is by Jasper the Colossal. Follow the link down below or download them on iTunes today.
And for all our episodes, visit genderrebels.com.
The Gender Rebels is a Comeback Sync production. Copyright 2020. All rights reserved.
And to all you gender rebels out there, keep rebelling.
Bye.
Bye.